Now obviously, upon completing the Chimera Prologue, which of course you have to do the sacrifice and all the other quests beforehand, you get the blueprint for this weapon, and there's a lot of speculation about what this thing is for, and I will be brutally honest, I got busy doing a lot of other stuff after I did that, and it's 6 hours later when I remembered, yes, I need to set the Paracesis off to build 1,000 ducats for this, and a galatine, and 5 eidolon shards, and 15 Orokin cells. This thing had better be amazing because it's expensive. More so because it takes a galatine to build this thing, and 12 hours and 30 platinum, and if I had have set this off when I was supposed to, I would have left this thing to build, but sadly I didn't, so I need to collect this thing, and yeah, it's expensive. Mainly because I didn't want to sacrifice my galatine, so I actually just went and bought another one from the marketplace so I can build this thing. I did not... Again, if I had have set it off earlier, I probably should have. It's the Sentient Slayer, an offering from Ballas. And from everything I've seen or heard about this thing, it's basically the Jat Kitag when it comes to particles and other things, and yeah, that has me wondering a few things, but polarities, oh, come on. I was really expecting this, especially considering the description, the Sentient Slayer. I really was expecting to load this up and the Umbral polarity to be in here, but it's not. You can obviously put it in there, but what was that particle effect? Ugh. What? I'd never noticed that before. But you would have expected it to obviously have fit. It doesn't. There's no Umbral. Yeah, dropped the ball on that one a bit, because it really should have had that Umbral slot in there. But in all brutal honesty, that's not the worst thing that could have done to this weapon. Yes, when I picked this up, I really wish it was there. That disappeared very quickly upon realizing this thing has a 31% crit chance with a 2.6 times multiplier, which puts it level with the Gram Prime, which has a 32% crit chance and a 2.6 times multiplier. Now, this, yes, it does less damage. It has a 31.7 impact versus that the Gram Prime, which has a 36. This does 100.8 slash. The Gram Prime does 135. This does a little bit more puncture. This does more than half of the status effect, but it has a 0.917 attack speed. The Gram Prime has a 0.8. So even though it is really close to it on the damage, give or take the fact there's 34.2 difference on the slash, the rest of them are fairly close. The added attack speed, yeah, it's obviously not going to be as high on the crit chance because there's 1% difference in it, but this pretty much made the Gram Prime useless in an instant. Yeah, okay, there is a higher level to get a hold of it. It's a pain to get because you have to pretty much do every quest to get this thing, but why would they come out with a Gram Prime capable weapon? It's not a killer, the Gram Prime is still better, but the attack speed on this makes this more usable than the Gram Prime. So why would they do this so close and then make it a mastery rank 10 when the Gram Prime is a rank 14? Of course, this has just rolled over to 30 as I just checked but got dragged out of it. As you can see, it hasn't gone max rank. Usually when you get to rank 30, that will change, just like the rest of them, to say max rank. This is where this thing comes into one of its party pieces. That being, when you put a polarity in it, I have two high ones. I will first off just make sure you cannot put the Umbral. Nope, that's a bit of a shame. put that on there, and now, oh look, it now goes to 32, and I'm getting absolutely no kills with it. And yes, that was me dying. Kind of sucks because I had to leave the mission after that, which I wasn't quite prepared to do yet. And anyway, what happens here is when you add in Forma, it is going up another 2 levels, and what this is doing is adding what they were calling sentient damage bonus. So it's not really adding bonus to the weapon that you are using for day-to-day use, but it's adding a bonus for, and this is yet again aimed towards the sentience, kind of like Umbra was. Umbra, with his Umbral mods, have that whole set bonus which increases the damage to well, it doesn't. The set bonus means that they all do more damage. Each of the Umbral mods have the damage to sentience on it, which obviously increasing those will increase damage to sentience. And then we have the Paracesis turning up that also has the ability to go beyond level 30, which after doing this I really hope doesn't become this big thing that they start doing, because you Forma it, it goes to 32. You Forma it again, yeah, you get where this is going. Forcing Formaing is not a good idea if you want people to enjoy the game. Now, because it came with no polarities, it's understandable to throw 2 or 3 Forma at it, because you need at least the 2 Vs, because this is crit built. You really do want blood rush, body count. If you have it primed pressure point, obviously the sacrificial pressure point and the sacrificial steel would probably be better in this, but considering you can't polarize that mod on there and you can't use it with primed pressure point, and you also can't, well, that's the sacrificial pressure point won't work with primed pressure point, and sacrificial steel won't work with true steel, so you really have to have those maxed. It will actually turn this into a crit beast if you actually throw both the sacrificial steel and the sacrificial pressure in there. And yes, I know I keep referring to it as sacrificial pressure point. That is just so people who haven't got the Umbral mods understand what sacrificial pressure is. It's just an Umbral version of pressure point. The sacrificial steel and obviously sacrificial pressure together have more of a damage to sentient bonus to them, but it's mainly the sacrificial steel. Mine went up to 80% with this on. True steel itself only goes up to 60% crit chance, and here we have a mod that, when not installed and not maxed, mine again, it's 2 for max, went up to 72% crit chance, which is really useful if you could polarize the Umbral mod of polarity onto this weapon. It really needed the Umbral mods on this that would have made it so much better, because it would be adding the damage to sentient bonus to a weapon that has the extra damage to sentient bonus from getting it from 30 to 40. It really would have made a lot of sense, but at the same time not, because if it already has a damage to sentient bonus to it, why add another one to it? Kind of catch-22 with that one. But even though this thing goes up a higher level, has the added point bonus from going up a higher level, it does still suffer the same problem that everything else does. And everybody makes the joke about Warframe and everything else. Well, forcing you to have to Forma a weapon to get the added bonus to it, to add more mod points to it that you don't need because you've had to Forma it to get those points in the first place, unless there are some amazing mods due for this thing that are going to make it catastrophically amazing. Yes, the weapon is great. Is it worth taking it past 30 and throwing all these Forma in there? Honestly, 2 Vs, a dash, pretty much all it ever needed. Maybe 2 dashes. Go full on elemental, even though it only had a 12%. But considering this is just past the 10-minute mark, I think we'll leave this off here for now. Thanks for watching, and I still don't know if I actually like this weapon or not. I am completely undecided.